I am so excited to be back. Took myself a little sabbatical here and just, took some time off. You know how things go with that. You gotta take some time to kind of decompress. But today, I feel revamped and re energized to be able to start this really great conversation because tonight we're talking about how Black history didn't stop and why self defense is still part of our story today. And even more so today, considering the fact of all the things that's going on right now here in America, there's a lot of people who feel unsafe, who feel unprotected, um, and who really feel like they got to do something about it. And so I'm here as a bit of encouragement to let you know that you are your first line of defense, even if you didn't believe so. And there's many ways of protecting yourself. So I'm not saying that everybody has to have a gun either. Not everybody likes guns, but there's so many different ways of defending yourself. And today we're going to kind of talk about some of those things. So I really hope that this conversation helps someone and that we celebrate Black History Month together. I mean, because Black history is a really big, important step. I mean, we have to understand that we live it every day. That is not just something in the past. I know it has the word history in it, but we're making new history every day, is what I really mean. So I definitely like to have this conversation, particularly because this is a channel all about woman empowerment, all about self-defense and being your first line of defense even. So for those out there who does not know who I am and what I'm here about, I am Mrs. Trouble, and I am a licensed firearm instructor and owner of a company in the DMV area. And I do a lot of training with many folks, but my expertise is about women, women empowerment, and also child advocacy as well. So everything I do is centered around making sure I can help these ladies out here feel more confident and be their first line of defense and help them know how to navigate the world of firearms, as it's such a big important tool. And we'll find after today I'm giving you guys some facts, so you'll see why it's important, and you'll see how it's always been there. And it's not anything new for us, honestly, as a people. And I mean Black people when I say as a people. So I do know that America is one big old melting pot. I get it. But in light of Black History Month, I will be focusing only on facts from the Black community right today. Doesn't mean that I don't accept or don't love others, because I do. I love everyone, and I want everybody to be safe. So hopefully this information is still helpful no matter if you're not a person of color or not. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and jump into it while we wait for people to join. Hopefully people see that this is something worthwhile and they really like the content, and you guys subscribe and you stay tuned to further postings, as well as make sure you hit that notification bell too, because you'll need to know when I do go live. You'll need to know when I post new content. I try to make content out there that's helpful for everyone. Again, really focusing around the female, perspective, because ladies need a little bit extra support sometimes in this area. But here we are, Black History Month. We're going to celebrate together and give you guys some information and help you underline self-defense from the perspective that we're going to go in today. So again, tonight we're talking about Black history and the fact that it didn't stop, that we deal with self-defense all the time, and it's part of our story naturally. Okay, so just giving you guys a little opening here, because it's Black History Month. We're realizing something, at least I realized something, that a lot of what we live with today is something that they lived with in the past. And those very same things that they went through in the past were things that got us to today, that we might still actually be able to use those same tactics, those same strategy and skill. And so I'm going to navigate some of the key things that I seen that was important for me to understand how I can learn from the past and use it for today, as it pertains to self-defense. And I found some really interesting things as I was doing my research. I don't just talk to you guys from the top of my head usually. Usually I do some research so I can give you guys some new knowledge and some new understanding. So as I see people joining, hey, 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 I really appreciate you guys being here. If you can put in the chat where you're joining us from. If you're joining from the place in the United States, go ahead and just shout out with city or country. If you're joining from another country, I really appreciate you putting out there in the chat as well. Really not sure exactly what happened. But I am back. Can you guys hear and see me okay? Just give me a thumbs up if you can. So I just want to make sure everything's working okay. It just cut me off there. But I see I got somebody here from Maryland. Thank you so much for joining. But basically, just making sure you guys can still hear me okay. Hopefully you can. When it comes to this whole Black History thing, that really got my attention is the fact that we always think about the trauma that we saw, the trauma that happened, with slavery and everything else, the Jim Crow era, all these things. But we never really considered the fact of the strategy that was put in place by our ancestors. We didn't think about the survival that they went through and the skill it took even for them to even get thus far or get through all of these things. So today, I'm going to pinpoint some of those things that stood out to me and how it really helps me stay in power. And actually, I utilize that same strength, that same strategy in my everyday living. And really just help me understand my self-defense, the whole part about education, how that still matters so much today. It mattered a whole lot then because self-preservation is key, right? But it definitely still matters today because self-preservation is still key. But why responsible firearm owners have to really make sure that we are very knowledgeable and educated, because we are very much policed over many other ethnicity groups out there. The Black people definitely are over policed many times. So we really have to make sure that we're being educated and making really good self-defense choices. And we also want to make sure we highlight the fact that Black women are really taking back their strength, that Black women are starting to have a voice, a movement of showing that, we matter and that we can actually be in this space in the gun field. It's not very many of us out there, but it's growing. It's growing pretty fast if you ask me. Every time I turn around, I'm seeing a new YouTube channel, which I think is awesome. I'm seeing new companies pop up everywhere that is doing firearm training and is led by a woman instructor. And I'm like, this is really awesome because we need this. I mean, we needed this more than we ever known, because so many people think that guns are taboo and they're bad news. But realistically, guns have always been a part of everyone's history, particularly American history. And it doesn't really matter your ethnicity, your background, your history. You'll find guns somewhere in your family's history, somewhere. So regardless if you believe in having firearms and the right to bear arms or not, you'll find that guns have always been a part of your own history. So let's just jump in a few things. The history part is what is really fascinating to me. And I'm not going to bore you guys with a whole bunch of things. I'm just going to pinpoint some things here. So one of the things that I found really fascinating is, as I said, Black women has always been a part of things, but maybe not as recognized as many. You may have gone through the whole rabbit hole of finding out what inventors invented this, invented that. And the Black History Month, we see these things posted now. We see these other evidence of things. One of the things I thought was interesting is that same thing we use every day. And I've been looking on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok and laughing my butt off since this snowstorm stuff happened. People's security systems have been catching so many funny things on camera. And I thought about it, I was like, wow, I bet you they don't even know that the reason why we have home security system or security systems period is because of a woman named Marie Van Brittan Brown. I thought that was really fascinating that a Black woman took the time to actually invent something that we use every day. I mean, the mere fact that we're actually on our phones right now, yeah, a Black person. Not a Black woman, but still a Black person. So I just find it so interesting because it's like, okay, people sometimes underestimate women, don't think that women can do this, don't think that women can do that. Of course, we've progressed so far from 100 years ago now, and we really see the fact that, women can do, this and that. But I thought it was interesting because not only was she a woman in the 1950s and 60s, she was also a black woman. And the fact that she was able to get a patent for something, the struggle that she had to go through to even make something like that even take place. I mean, I commend that woman, and I thank her every day, because I don't think I could sleep well if I did not have my camera security system. So I really appreciate that, that she actually got that patent and she put that out there for the world to be able to use. So thinking about more on the lines of guns, of course, we always talk about the peaceful protests. Like right now, we have a peaceful walk that's happening right through our states right now as we speak. Has anybody else seen the monks? I actually had the privilege of seeing the monks the other day. And it was weird because I didn't plan it. I remembered that they were supposed to be coming through my city, but I really wasn't thinking about it. And it just so happened that I had to pick my kid up from childcare. And when I picked her up from childcare, I was stopped at a red light with all these people outside. Didn't remember why they might have been there. And a police officer pulled up right in front of my car, a whole bunch of them actually, and was like stopping the traffic. So I was like front row seat to seeing them actually pass right past my car. And I was like, wow, this is actually really a strong message right here, that they would take the time to march like this. And this is obviously not the first time that something like this happened in history, specifically for Black people. We've definitely had many marches of peace, but these things were not able to be peaceful in the time that it happened. The reason why is because we had other organizations and groups out there. We don't want to give it a name right now. We already know their names of these organizations that are so against anything other than white American. But they out there to harm people for being peaceful at that time. So we needed organizations that would actually be able to protect us, such as the Deacons of Defense and Justice. If you've never heard of them, please look it up. Deacons for Defense and Justice. They were founded in 1964 in Louisiana, Mississippi, and they were made up of World War II war veterans. And what they did was actually provided security by way of use of firearms, to be able to protect the people, so we can be out there peacefully protesting. So, I mean, just think about that. In order to be peaceful, we needed firearms to defend ourselves. Ain't that crazy? Really think about that. That's really amazing, the fact that a group of people would say, I want to be peaceful, but yet you still need self-defense by way of a firearm in case something else goes down. And 9 times out of 10 it did. So definitely look up Deacons for Defense and Justice. Now, we wouldn't have the NAACP if it wasn't for Monroe, North Carolina, having that first chapter happen by Robert Williams, okay? And he actually wrote a book. It was called Negroes with Guns. He openly supported the fact of us being able to provide self-defense for ourselves with the use of firearms, because it was needed. I mean, how else were you going to defend yourself if you have someone coming into your home, beating down your door, burning down your churches, all types of stuff? We know all the bad history. We get it. That's not my point. My point is we had to find some other form of self-defense, because just praying it away, just hoping that somebody would not mess with us was not enough. And even to today's standard, it still may not be enough. Sometimes people just mean you harm, and you have to meet them where they are. Guns are an equalizer. So sometimes you just have to meet them where they are. And we hope that nobody ever has to use it, but we do need to be prepared in case you do need to use it. So the thing is, when it comes to Robert F. Williams, he was the total inspiration for the Black Panther Party. So if you don't know that history, you definitely want to look into it. I'm pretty sure you know who the Black Panther Party is, so we're not going to get into that. But when it comes to the 6888, talking about war, World War II, we definitely had a whole battalion of women out there. And this whole battalion of women, they didn't deal with guns, but they did deal with our male. They kept the morale so that we could be able to fight in World War II. So that's just a big deal to give you and if you don't know that story, it's a whole movie about it. Lots of people prefer to look at a movie than read a book or look at a documentary. It's a whole movie about that. You can go ahead and check that out. That's really cool to know that there was women. They gave women a job that they didn't think that anybody can do. It was rat infested places that had mail all over the place, and they didn't know what to do with it. Families could not communicate with their loved ones when they were across seas at war. So people did not have the morale. The soldiers wasn't trying to fight because they didn't even know if their loved ones knew that they were alive. And it was a horrible whole thing, but they really did help a whole lot to keep the morale and be able to build that morale. So when it comes to self-defense, going even further though, just thinking about this. Now, this is one lady, everybody knows her name, Harriet Tubman. Now, it's not necessarily a known fact that all the time for everybody that she carried a firearm. Yeah, sure, she got people, from slavery to freedom by the Underground Railroad, of course, but she definitely carried a firearm just in case she needed to. And her own little quote was, I never ran a train off the track and I never lost a passenger. So I thought that was really dope to know that, hey, even she was packing just to make sure she can get the job achieved. So the thing is, I take away from this, Black women have always been protectors, and whether they were armed or not. I mean, even Ida B. Wells, you don't know who this is? She's a very powerful journalist. She wrote about anti-lynching, and she did it under another name for a little while, and then eventually she came out with her own name as well in her publications. But she really risked her life to even be a journalist in talking about these things. And so she actually has a little quote, a Winchester rifle should have a place of honor in every Black home. So even she was openly supporting self-defense by the way of bearer arms. And so it just goes to show you over and over and over again in our own Black history, you have women, you have men that have supported firearms. And it just drives me crazy right now that I actually encounter some Black people who are terrified of firearms, who doesn't believe in the right to bear arms. And I'm like, look at your history. Do you know your own history? Because if you did, I think even if you were a little fearful of guns, that you'll be more so understanding, and maybe you decide to still own one in your own home. Over and over again in history, it shows that firearms is definitely the equalizer that we need. So anybody out there listening right now, I really just want to know, what does self-defense really mean to you? Like, honestly, tell me in the chat, what does self-defense actually mean to you? Because it has to mean something different for other people, for everybody, because not everybody agrees with the same thing. But for me, self-defense really just means a way of protecting ourselves by any means necessary, honestly. Michael, you said pack a heat. I hear you. I hear you. And hey, for that matter, welcome, welcome. Good to see you back here. And so when it comes to that, I totally agree with you, honestly. Now, I just really think it's also an interesting fact that, thinking about things to today's standard here, 2020 to 2023, Black women have become one of the fastest growing groups of new gun owners in the United States. And I just thought that was really amazing. It really has been a big boom of more Black women becoming armed. And it's really motivated because, personal safety, protection of family members, reduced trust that help will arrive on time. It's the constant story. Even in my field of running my organization, running my business, I find all the time that those are the common things. I always ask women, why did you decide to sign up today? Why did you want to know about firearm use and things like that? And these are the reasons that they give. Every now and then I'll get somebody who tells me that, oh, well, my husband passed and now, or I'm divorced and now, so these are the things that I'll get too. But a lot of times it just completely just straight up self-defense with my family. Life is getting crazy. I can't keep living without a firearm in my home, even if I don't decide to conceal carry. And I'm like, okay, kudos to you. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. So, I mean, this isn't about aggression, though. I want everybody to put that in perspective, because a lot of times you see a black woman and you kind of give this whole black angry woman vibe, and that's not what I'm portraying here. That's not what I'm trying to give to you guys. I'm trying to give you guys an understanding why it's important for self-defense by the use of firearms or any means necessary, right? Because the world isn't always so nice to us. It's not so nice to everybody. And so we got to do what we got to do, basically. Now, just to keep things just a little spicy here. So this is something that really played with my mind here. Here's the really uncomfortable part. People are okay with black self-defense when it's hidden. But soon as you put the whole thing into it, the nerves comes into it when we have education behind it, when we're confident behind it, and especially when it's a black woman behind it. I wonder why. Why does that make people so nervous? You know? So if you guys have any assumptions to that, go ahead and put that in the chat. That's fine, because you'll be teaching me something new, because I'm just looking at it like we're human beings like everybody else. Self-preservation is number one in a human, thing of life, and that's a part of it. You want to protect yourself. So the thing is, honestly, people, we have to be mindful that going into all this firearm self-defense stuff, you have to be educated. That's honestly going to be your number one tool to protect you. Education is really the tool. It always has been. It's the only way we can actually get ahead, get by, get through anything. When it comes to America, Black Americans have always been over-policed and underprotected, and which makes legal knowledge even more critical. Because if you don't know your rights, then you're already starting off wrong when you get in trouble, you know? And you could prevent so much trouble if you do know your rights or if you do know the law. And so please get educated out there. When it comes to knowing the law is part of self-defense, and survival today isn't just physical, it's definitely very legal. So when you decide to own a firearm or carry a firearm, please do it by the law. I mean, right now, we have so many big changes that's actually trying to happen as we speak. I don't know if anybody knows what's going on, but please keep your eyes and ears out and read, because honestly, they are trying to pass so many changes. And one change that is going to possibly happen is the 50-state carry, but we don't know. We'll see how that goes. We won't find these answers out until around July time frame, or maybe a little earlier. So, but there's a whole lot of different things that may be changing, such as I'm hearing about taxes being raised on firearms and ammunition. So all of these type of things might actually be changing. And some things might be changing for the best, and other things not so much. But we'll see. I'll keep you guys posted as I find out information too. So culturally, we have to consider, for generations, Black women are expected to protect everyone and stay silent and be unarmed and be uninformed and even invisible. And so this space right here, Shoot the Shh, is designed to do exactly the opposite. It's to give women their voice, particularly women of color, their voice. I like to invite women to come on the show to talk to me about things that they're educated about, to help other women be educated, especially when they're out there helping others. So definitely look for my live content out there. Look for my interviews out there, which I'll be posting some more soon, working on editing those. Those things take time. But when it comes to all of this information, I really appreciate you guys watching tonight and being a part of this. I feel so great about being back. Thank you for bearing with me about being away for a little while, but I definitely had to take some time. And while I have you guys here, just let me know, did you learn any of these Black history facts that I told you guys in school? I'm curious, because most of that I did not hear any of that in school. Only one I think I know about is Harriet Tubman. I don't think about none of them ever taught me anything else. But any of those history facts stuck out to you for something new you learned, whether it be about the whole Ida B. Wells, or whether it was the Deacons for Defense or Robert Williams. I'm just curious, did you learn any of that in school? Because I know for me, I learned it way after. So just keep in mind that Shoot the Shhh isn't about violence, honestly. It's about breaking the silence. Our ancestors didn't survive by accident, and we're thriving, not by accident either. So keep going out there, getting that knowledge, you guys. Keep learning about firearm safety and awareness. And in honor of Black History Month, remember that that within your Black history, firearms does exist. And our generation is not the first generation to handle firearms and deal with firearms and have them. So please don't be afraid to incorporate that in your life and teach this way of living to your children, because self-defense is everything. So I really again appreciate you guys joining. Don't forget to press that subscribe button and press the notification bell as well, so that you'll be able to stay tuned when I post more things. It was really great to be here with you guys, and I will see you next time.